I was 70 years old and I retired. I said, I'm going to get out of here. But I sat around for a few days and Diane said, get up and go do something. Find you a job. I just really wasn't wanting to quit work. I should have been at 70 years old, but I wasn't. So a friend of hers said, the dynamite place over at Graham, Ensign Bickford, they're hiring. Go over there and get you a job. I said, I know a man that runs the place, a Jarvis boy from Greenville. I called Jarvis up and I said, I need a job out there. We ain't got no job out here. Guards have a job. He said, I'll get you a job at them if you want it. I said, okay. So I worked 7, almost 8 years out there. I was about 78, something like that when I quit. I enjoyed it. And they had the guard service change their contracts every now and then. So that one place lost its contract, another one gained it. They brought their own guards in, so that put me out of a job. So I more or less got fired from another one. That's twice. In my old age, I got fired. I don't consider it my fault at the time, but of course, the job thing, changing owners, that's just a thing of that's the way jobs are. They lose their contract, you're out of here. And that's what happened. But that was a simple little job. You had a guard shack. People come in and out, talk to them, write their name down, and all that stuff. And once every hour, you had to make a round up through the plants, and they had little clocks that and you had a key. You go over so that they know you've been there. The boss was in Hopkinsville, and he'd come around about once every 2 or 3 weeks and check the paperwork on it, and make sure everything was up to par, and he'd go back home, and then we'd have it for maybe a month or two before he'd come back and check things out. But I was the supervisor out there over about, how many guards was it? 8 or 10 guards, something like that. Had 2 guards for each shift, plus 2 or 3 extras, and 4 or 5 part timers. And my job was I had an 8-hour shift just like the rest of them, but I had to make sure the next shift was covered. That was the biggest problem because they didn't want to do nothing. Most guards, it's a low job, low class job, low pay. So you had to hire a lot of people that didn't qualify for better jobs. So they would show up for work or they didn't show up. You couldn't put much confidence in them. It started off as Tex gas, just TEX gas, out of Madisonville. And I worked 6 or 7 years. But I worked for Ray Lamb Sales in Central City first with the gas company. And I worked there about 3 or 4 years. And this other fella come in there and one day said, you're the employee here. I said, yeah. He said, come go work for me. I'll pay you. I'll give you $1 an hour more. Nothing wrong with that. So I quit Ray Lamb in Central City and went to Madisonville. And it was a good job. I was service. I had to take care of all the tanks, the setting of the tanks, and everything that pertained to propane, fixing things in people's houses, furnaces, installing furnaces, cook stoves, everything. It was interesting, and we was quite busy for a long time. It was a good place to work. People want a tank. I'd pick them a tank up, take it to them, put it where they want it most of the time. Dig a ditch, set the tank, hook it up, go in a house, hook it up to whatever was in there that they wanted hooked up. Then check it for leaks. That was what else, what it was. And some places it took you could do it in 2 or 3 hours. You go in and out, and then some places it take 2 or 3 days to finish it up. You do business, this have to take a week or two sometimes. But it was a good job. They changed contractors, and the new contractors looked at Madison Mills and said, "Y'all not making enough money for us, so we're going to keep the rest of the cities that we have. But Madisonville's going out of business as of today, so you go home." Hmm. So I went into work one day, and the boss said, "Leave your vehicle here, and I'll take you home." I had a truck to drive every day to work. That was quite handy. I enjoyed that because it saved me on gas and wear and tear to Madisonville and back every day. But I lost that job because they closed down.
So I mean, how much of the gas line did you lay at the mall?
We were limited as to, you're talking about distance where the tank set and all that.
But you talking about you had to take the pipe up to the roof and
Oh, well, that was just an extra hard job that I had to do. Most of the jobs were simple things in the houses. Like this house here, the tank was sitting over here, and I had to run a line to it and uh, set the tank first, and hook it up inside, cook stove, and the furnace. I had a furnace in that closet right there. I took it out and I bought a outside furnace from a fella, John Day Service, and he's a friend of mine, so I got a good deal on an outside unit with air conditioner and all that. I didn't have an air conditioner, so I decided just go ahead and get a heater with air conditioner, set it out there, and I wouldn't have to worry about the window units and all that stuff. But those that blame things that went up so high, it'd take an arm and a leg to buy one of them now. They're outrageously high. My furnaces are gone. The air conditioner quit. It ran for a couple of years, and the only thing I could do was put in some window units. I couldn't afford it. Cheapest thing they had, and it wasn't really guaranteed for less than a year, was $3,500. I said, no, I can't handle that. I can't handle that. And the real nice ones that had good warranties on them and all that stuff, like Howell and good name brands, they started about 5,000. So it's hard to get a hold of $5,000.